What's going on, people? Welcome back to the channel. KG is back with another stream, another one based on Raphinha, but it's because things move on very quickly. Feels a bit since I was on my own channel. I think it was only a week ago, but time moves very quickly. So, but yeah, as you come in, like the stream. If you're watching a replay, like the video. You know how it is. No one else supports me. I support myself. I'm a lone ranger in this thing. So, back your boy in it. But listen, we had a show last night on the Coppish channel. You'd never believe it. I've joked with them already about the lack of promotion for the show. But we had a Prem panel show last night. Very good show yet again. It's in my community post. So if you want to go see that, go and watch that one on the replay. But yeah, this one's going to be about Raphinha and his future at Leeds United or whatever it may be. Hola to all the new Brazilian viewers that I seem to have gathered up as well. So, yeah, man, all good, man, all good. Hope everyone is well. We got a game tomorrow, but this isn't going to be a preview of the game, not really. I'll probably touch on the Southampton game right at the end, in all fairness, because this is basically about Raphinha, because things have moved on since we last spoke about him. And yeah, listen, the pride that we had or have for Raphinha doing so well on the international stage is unfortunately being shared by a lot of people. Now, we've all known exactly what this guy's capable of. We know that he is top quality, but as always, when you're not playing at a big club, it takes the masses to get, to catch on. And, just some of the conversations I've had over the past couple of days has been quite interesting, funny, and a bit worrying from a couple of people, because I thought they knew a bit better, but obviously not. I won't name any names right here. But yeah, I mean, his stock just grew from the first cap to the second and to the third. It's in another stratosphere. We're talking the Neymar Raphinha link up, which I will get into a bit later as well. Yeah, I mean, he's just taking his game to a whole new level on the international stage. Like it's a thing when you play for a team like a country like Brazil. When you're rated there, they really, really rate you. And if you've seen the comments online, even from feedback from my own videos from Brazilians that didn't really know much of him, they cannot wait to see him in a Brazil shirt. In fact, they want him to start the games for Brazil now. He's like their new right-hand savior. And there's a reason for that. The reason is, from what we all know as Leeds fans, is that he is top quality. Just because other people can't see it because he doesn't play for one of the bigger clubs doesn't mean that we can't see that he is going to go to the top. And whether that's with us or elsewhere, that's what we're going to get into here. So, I mean, yeah, like the video says, it's a temperature test. I want to know how worried you are that he's going to leave in the summer. Because January, I'm not even talking about January, because we're not selling Raphinha in January. That's just not going to happen. So how confident are you that he's going to stay past January? If anyone in the chat, anyone that's watching the replay, let me know if you think that he's going to stay past the summer, I should say, not January, the summer. Because the optimist in me hopes that he does stay. I would love nothing more than Raphinha to stay. But you can tell that the wheels have been in motion, and just going by the reports, in that Liverpool had talks. Talks is anything, no. We could hold talks with PSG about Messi. Don't mean that we're going to sign him. You've got to show up with the money. But the fact that there was talks and that his agent Deco come out and said that Leeds want to keep him for another season, I take that literally, in terms of it's going to be one more season to see what we're about. And if we're not where Raphinha wants to be, then he might have to go. And it's not about trying to sell him. I see fans saying just enjoy him, don't worry about selling him. But you kind of have to look at it, because we do have a top class player on our hands, and it just makes me laugh. I mean, I was speaking to a couple of guys earlier in a little group chat, and the fact that they believe that he would only go for like 45 to 60 is laughable to me. Because if he does the exact same things that he's doing right now in a Liverpool shirt, in a Chelsea shirt, they wouldn't be saying the same thing, I guarantee you. But I've also been on their show before when I've said championship players can step up, and they need to see it to believe it, in all fairness. And one even said we can't ask for more than 70 million because he hasn't played in the Champions League. I mean, I don't know if he meant that or not. I'm going to take it that he just had a little brain fart. But that's ludicrous. You know, Jack Grealish has never played Champions League and he went for 100 million. You know, it's got nothing to do with if you've played in Champions League. It's about your talent level. It's about how you change games. And Raphinha is a game changer. You know, and I mentioned it yesterday on the Copper Show, but listen, you've got Saint Maximin and all these guys. There's a reason why they don't get linked with the Liverpools and all that. There's a reason why, because as skillful as they are, their end product is very iffy. Rafinha's got all the skill, he's got all the technique, he's got all the tracking back, but he's got a wicked end product. That's the difference between him and the rest of the pretenders like Traore, Saint Maximin, and all these other guys that is compared with Sarr, all these guys. There's a difference. There's different levels to this. And I always say, just remember I said this now, because when you see him ball out for another club, if he does go, you're going to hear everyone say, oh, he's world class and all this. But because he's at Leeds, they can't see that he's actually a top class talent. It's really weird how some people view football. But listen, that's why I've got my own thing here. That's why I've got my own platform solo, because I can get out my opinions that I think are very educated. So, yeah. I mean, listen. Yeah, and Harmony, listen. even from last week, when we discussed his debut, his price went up then. Yeah. After yesterday's performance with the 2 goals and link up with Neymar, yesterday's price is definitely not today's price. You know what I mean? And you just have to go by the way that he is adapted in English football straight away. There was no adaptation period. He didn't start slow. We saw what he was about when he came on a sub at Aston Villa, splitting balls through their defense. This is about how he's moving. He is going upwards. As much as we're not going with him, unfortunately, he is going upwards, and you can tell in his performances. And for other prices, let's just go through a couple of players that have moved. If Ollie Watkins can go from the Championship Brentford for 33 million to Villa, how are we not asking for more than 70 million for Raphinha, who is a Brazilian star right now? He's a Brazilian star. Listen, yeah, Jack Wilson, great point. He looked on par with Neymar. He did. He's looked better than Neymar in the whole international break on a whole. But what? Because he plays for Leeds, we can't ask for more than 45. This isn't the early 2000s anymore. We're not the club in trouble where we have to sell assets for cheap. We are in a good financial position. This is going to be on our terms. And I think our terms are going to be a very, very high price, which is why I know Liverpool linked with him, and we'll go into Fabinho's comments and that he thought Raphinha was going to move to Liverpool and he'd love to see him at Liverpool. Well, why wouldn't he? You know, why wouldn't he want to see his fellow countryman, who's a great player, to be at the club with him? It makes sense to me. It's the same thing I've always said about players like Harry Kane getting spoken to by Man City players, Chelsea players, Liverpool players, how they talk about title challenges, Champions Leagues. They're going to talk. It's the way it goes. But Deco's comments kind of just confirmed it to me that something may be in motion next summer. Who knows where it will be? Yeah, Jack Wilson, Liverpool can't afford him. And this is something that I said last night to the Liverpool guys. They can't afford him right now. It will take them to sell somebody or a couple of players of high value in order to get Raphinha. The thing is, for me, if he's not worth how much he's worth, it's so funny, because the same people that were telling me that he's only worth 45 to 60 are retweeting think pieces about him and his good stats and all this stuff. It's all mad. It's all mad. But if Liverpool were to get the cash, I think Liverpool would be a destination for him. I actually think Chelsea might be a good destination for him too, because, you know, they're always chopping and changing at wingers. They haven't really worked it out. And Chelsea definitely have the cash. We don't have to worry about Chelsea. They definitely got the money. But those aren't my ideal destination. I'm going to go into that. So, yeah. Oh, Darren, you've read my mind. You know what? I might as well go for it now. Darren Wong says, we don't need to worry about those players' comments. Even Neymar will say he wants Raph at PSG. That's what I was thinking, right? That was my ideal destination for Raphinha if he had to be sold anywhere. We've got a great relationship with the PSG hierarchy, Radrizzani and them. We've got a great relationship. Neymar's obviously budding a brilliant partnership at international level. Mbappe will be leaving. Looks like he will be leaving for Real Madrid at the end of the season. They need a new right-sided player. Why not PSG? You know, as much as listen, we got BT Sport. We can see the French league, man. We don't need to see him in the Prem in another club's colours. But for me, PSG makes a lot of sense too. Always challenging for the league after the Champions League. He's got his buddy Neymar there with a few other Brazilians, Marquinhos and all these guys. I think it would be a great move for him to go to PSG. Premier League, I'm not gonna lie. I said this last night as well, but I haven't been bothered where a lot of our players go once they leave Leeds United. But man, it will hurt to see him in another Premier League shirt. Cannot lie about this. So for me, that's my ideal scenario if he's transferred. Get him to PSG and, you know, all the best. The other scenario for me would be to sign a new contract, put in a release clause, much like what's going to be done with Calvin Phillips. And whoever ponies up that release clause, good luck to you. And you've got a great player for what will be a very, very high release clause. So those are the two scenarios for me, that he signs a new deal. We get a couple more years on him. He stays for another year. That would be great. But it's just looking very unlikely. But I don't want him to go. And I want to make that clear. Obviously, I don't want him to go. But with the agent's comments, his teammates' comments coming out so freely, yeah, it will be mad. It will be. It's kind of hard to see him next summer being a Leeds United player. Harmony saying it would break my heart for him to leave, but it must not be Manchester United or Chelsea if he did. Yeah, I think because of probably because I know more Liverpool fans, it would be more annoying for me personally for him to go to Liverpool, for him all of a sudden to be one of the greatest Brazilians that ever played football once he does the exact same things what he's doing at Leeds at Liverpool. I think that would be more annoying for me than Chelsea. I got to be honest, even though Matisse gets on my nerves with that thing sometimes. Yeah, I mean, listen, Gil, if Rafa goes, who would you get in? I mean, you'd have to cross that bridge when it comes to it, because you'd hope that the club would kind of spread that money out and get in a few players, a couple to a few players to really upgrade the first 11. Because for me, you do not sell a Raphinha if you don't have a contingency plan. If you're not buying 2 to 3 players to fill in those positions, we shouldn't be doing it. So, yeah. Player agent talk. Well, that's like those La Liga release clauses. How many? 300 mil. Yeah, I mean, listen. Yeah. Let me see. I mean, everyone's saying this Liverpool can't afford him, but I think if they were to raise the funds via player sales, in all fairness, though, they did try and get rid of a few of those players this summer, and no one bit, because they're not really of high value. So it will be interesting to see if Liverpool were to make a serious bid, where that money is going to come from. If it's going to come from their much maligned owners, or if they make a few player sales. But I don't think it's a case of Liverpool can't afford him. I think it's that the owners just don't spend money like that. So, Robert Dunlop, can Somerville potentially replace Rafa? That's potentially, but that's a big ask for him to do that at this stage. We'll see how it goes over the next 12 months. But listen, I don't know. I wouldn't put that on Somerville. I think you'd have to get somebody more established to replace Raphinha, and that's just to appease the fans as well. You can't just get in a bunch of money for Raphinha and then expect Somerville to be the replacement unless he progresses beyond our wildest dreams this season. I think it would be unfair to him, and I don't think the club would do that. Oh no, Jack Wilson cannot put that. Just Jack Wilson, Forshaw's fit again. Yeah. He sure is. YG Jez, big up KG. As a Spurs fan, I was called a fool for wanting to sell Kane and use some of the money on Raphinha, proper player. Yeah, I mean, listen, and that's the thing as well. again, going back to this value of a player, Spurs value Harry Kane at 150 million, rightly or wrongly. And until they got anywhere near that, they weren't talking. They're kind of paying for it now because Kane he's definitely got that "I wish I wasn't here" body language on him. Now they probably cannot ask for 150. What we want to do though is make sure that we're asking a price that we deem is fair to us, and that a club can get to. If they can't get to it, then they can't buy him. The days, I mean, look at, it's like Declan Rice. There's a lot of people that would say he's not worth 70 million, but to West Ham United, he's worth 70 million for what he does for West Ham and what he means to West Ham. He's worth 70 million. So all these big clubs, they cannot tell you as a Leeds fan, as a Spurs, Villa, whatever it may be, they can't tell you how much your players should be worth. Those are the archaic days where big clubs could just swoop on anybody. We've got owners that don't need to sell. We've got owners that don't need to sell. 49ers back us. We're not in a hurry up and please buy this player mode. Those days are done, you know. Ume says if Raphinha himself wants the move next summer and wants to play in Champions League, it can force Leeds. It definitely can, and I definitely see that happening if and him going rather than him staying and maybe having a boo-boo face, much like Harry Kane. I don't think you know what our club is like. Leeds United, it's all about fitting in and mixing with the group and everything. And if there's anything like that, as we've seen with Samu Saiz and a couple of other players, they'll be gone. But I still think it will be a lot of money that people would need to pay. It's not going to be a cheap thing. To me, when I saw 45 million, I said, for who? Like, how can you even think that a guy like Raphinha is only worth 45 million? It's crazy to me. Darren Wong, KG, those guys who say who and who's not worth, they're just salty, they want the players on the cheap. It's because those kind of clubs always miss these guys. They always miss them at this point. Instead of one of the big boys going in for Raphinha at the time when he would have been 17 million, they miss that and then they have to pay a premium. That's why they always say stuff like this, because their recruitment is not good. They just go for names. They go for whatever's hot on FIFA. Some of the scouting at the bigger clubs is actually kind of mad when you really think about what they spend their money on and how much they spend. But yet they're trying to tell other clubs who scout well, like the Leicesters, like us, we've got a decent scouting system. They're trying to tell us how much we should sell our players for. It's crazy. It's that Premier League entitlement, man. I don't think we've done that just yet, but it's that Premier League entitlement where they think that because they've been here for so long that they can dictate the prices. It don't work like that. And the thing is, the proof will be in the pudding if he's ever sold, and then we'll see how much he goes for. But I guarantee it's not going to be for no 45 million. Jack Wilson, for 45, they can have Roberts, Costa, and Forshaw. Oh, man. Robert Dunlop, what is the minimum release clause price you put on Raph and KG? See, if we're talking today, Robert, I'm putting in 75. Legitimately 75. That is the minimum I would put in, because I think the price is only going to get higher as we go on through the season. The performances for Raphinha are only getting better. They've been getting better at every game he's played, and you can see he's more influential. Fabinho even says himself that Raphinha is super influential in the Leeds United team. I think, was it Thiago Silva said that Raphinha and one of the other players have come in and they've played like old school Brazilians used to, just having fun, fearless, playing football, but with product to go with it. Listen, you don't get these testimonials unless you're actually good. You don't get Neymar willingly passing your ball first time if you're not trusted. There's levels to it, and yesterday's price is not today's price. So for me, minimum release clause 75 million. Gil, don't you think Bielsa has raised Rafa's levels as well as Phillips, Melier, Bamford? So do you think his levels will drop if he went to another club? No. Listen, Bielsa gets a lot of credit. I mean, people would probably say, well, he hasn't really done much with Tyler Roberts, but hey, he's not a wizard, But listen, yeah, Bielsa deserves massive credit for the Phillips, Melier. Raphinha even said himself that the Chiche, I think the Brazilian coach's name is, said that he spoke to Bielsa and he said that he wanted Raphinha to play the way that he does at Leeds under Bielsa. It's a huge thing. But, I'm not going to say to you that he cannot go another step or a further step under a Jurgen Klopp. That would be stupid to say. He can certainly get coached better elsewhere. Of course he could. But he's had a very good foundation here. And if he was to go to a Jurgen Klopp, I could see him going to the next level, of course. Like I say, I've said it. We've said it for a while on here, haven't we? He's going to the top. It's just that now the stories have come out. It just kind of makes it that bit more real, doesn't it? It just feels like it's a bit more real in terms of him possibly leaving at the end of the season. But listen, I'm going to enjoy him, and I've said this all along. I'm going to enjoy him for as long as he's at Leeds United. I feel so privileged that we've got a player of this talent at our club. It's magic for me. Like I say, no one has been this naturally talented and gifted game changer since Harry Kewell. That's a long time ago. So listen, we'll just got to enjoy him while he's here, people. But who knows? Like some of you were saying in the chat, maybe he'll stay for another season. If that happens, that would be amazing. That would be amazing. Seastone, number 37, also put top players around him and see what he does. Look how seamlessly he fit into the Brazil squad. Yeah, I mean, it was like he played like he had the 100 caps. He was playing like he was there and like he just belonged there. He was amazing. He was amazing. So he'll have no problem. And that's why I've said before, it doesn't matter where he goes, he will fit in, whether it's a Chelsea, Liverpool, Man United, but hopefully PSG. PSG, listen out, please. Yeah, please. I want Neymar to go to the owners at PSG and say, listen, go and get my compadre there. I want him to replace Mbappe. And that would work out fine. That would work out great if he had to go. If he had to go. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Lee, Ben White went for 50 million. Raphinha's worth double that. This is what I'm saying. Different positions, granted, and there is that English tax, but we're talking Brazilian magic here. Okay, that's expensive. That's the old Kaká stuff, all them guys. Because he plays like that. He plays like a free spirit with end product. There's a difference. So yeah, listen. Don't let anyone ever try and con you as Leeds United fans, as Leeds United fans. Don't let anyone try and con you and say he's only worth 50, 60. That's for their agendas and their agendas only. I see rough pelt here. Phillips and Raph, 250 million. LUFC Foden. Far too many fans are burnt from the past season. 3 in the Prem is the crossroads. Think we're ready to put good players around him personally. You see, Foden, I would completely agree with that, but I don't think that we did enough in this summer. And I think that that's going to hinder us. And I said this when everyone was telling me we're going to push for Europe or it will be good enough just to survive. I said, well, if we're not in any of these competitions, to see players like Raphinha or Calvin stay, I think Calvin Phillips has got more chance to stay. I don't want to talk about Calvin Phillips, but to have a player like Raphinha stay is asking way too much. But so that's what I'm saying. We can't always have our cake and eat it and think we can just continue keeping these players and hoping that an Adam Forshaw around him is going to keep him around. It's not going to do the trick. It just isn't. So, but I hear you. If we had put better players around him and we were doing better in the league, possibly get into the Europa League, maybe that gives us more of a shot. It does give us more of a shot. Of course it would, unless it's a Champions League club that comes in for him. But we're not. I just don't see us finishing the European places with the squad that we've got. Again, it's not being pessimistic. It's being realistic. I just don't think we've got a European pushing squad at this moment in time. 85, 63 Robbie. He looked like he owned that Brazilian team. Yeah, he was amazing, man. Honestly, just. Oh man, yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Mr. Tom Bandy, if Bandy's in the building, I think we need to enjoy Raph while we can. He's clearly special and deserves enjoyment, not future regret. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm only doing this one, and then I'm probably not going to mention it again, even though January will be rife of transfer speculation. But obviously, it's quite a big story when his agent and a fellow Brazilian international teammate comes out and says something. So That's why I'm addressing it here. You know me, I don't really do the clickbait stuff, but I think it's pretty significant news with his agent coming out, because Deco's never come out and said anything like this before. He's always maintained that Raphinha is very happy at Leeds. He's never actually like opened that door ajar and said, "Hey, big clubs, psst, we're available." He's never done that, but he's done it this time. So we'll see. Yeah, people, smash the like, people, if you're in the building. You know, and like the stream if you're watching the replay, please. Okay, Jake Fox. I would love this to be true, Jake. I guarantee Rads won't sell Raph, in my opinion. Always said he was part of the club's plans. Yeah. But it's just like those things, though, isn't it? When you outgrow a club, or sometimes a club outgrows you, as we're finding out with a couple of our players. But if Raph continues on this, and I've got no doubt he will outgrow us. If we finish, say, 11th, 12th, and Raphinha's playing the way he is, we cannot expect to keep him. Realistically, we can wishfully and hopefully believe that he'll stay for another season, but realistically, we cannot expect a full-blown Brazilian superstar to stick with a team that's finished 12th or 11th. We just can't, you know? Yeah, Harmony. Yeah, here we are. Harmony's got it. If we get 2 or 3 decent additions in January and he stays another season, otherwise we'll go in the summer. And again, it's all about what those two or three additions are. Are they to solidify us in the Prem, or are they to push us up into those European places? Which is what I thought we was going to do this summer until we found out that we didn't really have the money because of all the back transfer fees. So yeah, no one's buying. Yeah, Mr. Tom, no one. I'm not even talking about January sales. He's not going in January. He's not going in January. 85. Robbie is saying it could be win-win if we get the right price. We also can strengthen the squad with that sort of money. Listen, I'm also a big believer. If a player, once a player decides they want to go, you've got to let them go. There's no point keeping them, because it's no good for that player. It's no good for the club. It just ruins the harmony, and it does. You know, and then it also affects your teammates as well, because your teammates are probably looking at you like, "Well, are we not good enough to play with?" All right, then, you know what I mean? You have to think about it from all different angles. So if the club can get a good fee for him, which they will, then yeah, you've got to go. And Bielsa definitely, or Orta, can definitely get some players in to just like try and get over that loss. It's going to be a morning on here, you know. I'm telling you, when he is sold, we're going to have a little funeral on here, man. I'm telling you, we're going to go for it together. Okay, we're going to go for it together. The old captain's armband, yeah. Steel S, give Raph the captain's armband and hypnotize him staying. Yeah. That whole captain armbands for your best player thing, I just can't believe how that's worked previously, man. It's weird. Like, just because they're the best player, they get the captain's armband. It's mad. Oh my days! Some of the comments in here for Liverpool, Lord have mercy. But yeah. Listen, yeah. Oh. Yeah, Mark A. This is giving him Mark A. This is giving me Coutinho vibes. Enjoy Raphinha while you can. Yeah. Listen. So yeah, that's it for me. I mean, does anybody else have any other thoughts on Raph? Does anybody else? I mean, I don't know if you've looked around the social media sphere and just seeing all the comments from Liverpool fans and various other clubs that are just believing he's going to be there. That's also another reason I wish PSG would just dead the whole thing and come in with a huge bid, and then him and Neymar can be united at club and country level, please. You know. Yeah, that's it, Jake. Jake Fox, the price Leeds might ask for could push other teams out of the deal, and Leeds could hold firm until a team is serious about buying. Yeah. If just saying Liverpool were to come in and they say 50 million with add-ons and all that, we're not listening to that. We're not listening to that. And Raphinha should be understanding as well to say, I can understand why you're not listening to just 50 million. And I think he would be, because he values himself very highly, as he should. You know, after the whole Ren thing, I know it wasn't his fault. He was only sold for 17, but he wasn't happy that he was only sold for 17 million. So I think he would knows that he should be sold at an absolute premium. And if these kind of clubs, Liverpool, don't have the money to pay, then we're not doing business. Simple as that. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like he's great now. Robbie's saying I believe Rafinha can get even better. Just watch him develop. He's only going to get better. He's like literally when he goes to one of those Champions League clubs, they're going to be talking about him as one of the best players in the world. I guarantee it. And remember, you heard that here, man. Remember, you heard the PSG thing here too as well. Because you know what, people don't give you credit, man. It's mad. People listen to you, they rip your words off and everything else like that, and they never mention your name, man. It's mad how some of these people move out here. But you know, it is what it is. But just remember, I mentioned that PSG thing, yeah. But yeah, listen, I'm just we're done with Raphinha. But if anyone else has got anything to say, then go ahead. I'm just going to quickly give my thoughts on the Southampton game tomorrow. I'm with a match reaction after the game at 5 o'clock. So if you can join me, then join me if you will. But for me, the game is a win for Leeds United. I think that it's not a simple win, but for me, nothing about Southampton impresses me. They go under the radar for their poor form because they're only Southampton. But I guarantee if this was another club, say this was Leeds United with the form that Southampton have had in 2021, they'd be talking about it on Talksport. They'd be talking about it on Sky. They'd be talking about it everywhere. But because it's just Southampton, they just seem to slip under the radar of playing very, very poorly. And because they managed to get a 0-0 draw against Man City or someone like that, it's all, oh, they're doing all right. No, they're not doing all right. For me, and they're without Che Adams, they're without James Ward-Prowse, their set piece king. Now, again, as you guys know, I do not rate James Ward-Prowse, but he's a good deliverer on set pieces. So they've got a few of their weapons out, as well as all those players are sold in the summer. So for me, we've got absolutely nothing to worry about. Hopefully, hopefully, you know, if they're trying to get Raphinha in this game, I'd love to see, but I'm not opposed to seeing Jack Harrison on the left and Dan James on the right because I actually believe Dan James is going to score tomorrow. I've got Dan James to score tomorrow. My prediction is 3-1. I think it's going to be a 3-1 win for Leeds. We should be going there to win. These are the kind of games where we have to impose our will on the game and come out with a win, just like we did against Watford. This is one of those games for me because Southampton are in trouble this season. They're in trouble. But again, they go under the radar because they're just Southampton. It's so mad how they've been so poor this season. This year, since January 2021, they've been so poor, but yet no one talks about it. It's crazy to me. That's the benefit of having a club where no one cares about you because no one will mention it. But we go 4 or 5 games without a win, it's getting mentioned, all right. You know what I'm saying? It's just amazing. So for me, no Bamford, possibly no Raphinha, but I believe they're going to do all they can to get him in there. A Dan James that is improving it game by game. He did very well for Wales too. I can only see us winning. Rodrigo needs a goal as well. That's it for me as well. Rodrigo needs to score tomorrow. If if he's going to be up front tomorrow and play the full game, I need to see him on the score sheet, man, because he's playing all these games up front. And you know, he had a decent. I can't even remember the game now, but he had a decent 60 minutes and then tailed off. If we're not going to get it from him, we need to see Gelhardt in that role. And shout out as well. I want to talk about, just shout out Lewis Bate as well, who I think is much closer to the first team than Forshaw. You know what I mean? I think Lewis Bate has got all the tools to step up right now. Forget that he's small in stature. That don't matter. You can be small in stature and be diminutive and be a technically sound player. You don't have to be tall and all that stuff. I think he's got the goods to probably step in very, very soon. I think we'll see Bate very, very soon this season. I really do. So give me some of your score predictions in the chat, people. So Harmony saying 2-1 Leeds. Okay, yeah. Mr. Tom, we are due a penalty. Dan James can't keep being ignored by VAR. Yeah. Listen, Jack Wilson, 24 points from 29 matches. Saints, 24 points from 29 matches in 2021. Are you mad? And people aren't talking about Southampton like they're a bunch of scrubs. It's crazy. Man, the benefit of playing for a team that no one cares about is mad, honestly. Jake, 3-1 Leeds. Chris, 1-1 draw. Jack Wilson agrees with about Lewis Bate. Sorry, Gill 2-0 Leeds. Bate is class and will play for England. Listen, we kind of saw it with Lewis Cook, didn't we? That he had all those tools to be an England international, and he got his cap, didn't he? I wouldn't put it past Lewis Bate. He looks really, really good. Like I'm looking forward to seeing him make his debut in the first team very soon. Much like Joe Gelhardt, I'm looking forward to see him do his thing, because I think some of the chances that Rodrigo gets or could get on the end of, I think Joe Gelhardt gets on the end of it and probably does a bit better. But we've got to see Rodrigo tomorrow. He needs to give us a goal tomorrow for me. Yeah, still S 2-0 to Rodrigo, 2-0 Rodrigo to score. I hope so. And Michael Brown, going back to the Raphinha thing, if Leeds lose Raphinha, I hope they do what Villa did and buy 3 good players like Ings, Buendia, Bailey with the Grealish money. Yeah, that's what we'd have to do. We can't go out and say we do get 75 million for Raphinha. We can't go out and then spend that 75 on one player. We have to have, I think we'll be sensible and have the smarts to get a couple, 3, maybe 3 players to fill in 3 different positions to improve this first 11, because it needs it. It needs it if it wants to go where Radrizzani previously said he wants to go, which is Europe. And by Europe, he's probably talking Europa League. So he needs to do that, because you can't just be loyal to the promotion group just because it's good for group harmony. If you really want the European stuff, you're going to have to buy European quality. And it is as simple as that. Kev McNally, 3-0 Leeds. Harrison is due a goal. We got a few players that are due, you know. We got a few players that are due, Kev. It's mad, isn't it? You know, Rodrigo's due, Harrison's due, Dan James is due. Maybe all 3 of them score tomorrow. Who knows? Who knows? Gil, I think we'll buy in Europe, not in England. Yeah, I mean, it all depends on, you know, the rules, because they've changed all the rules, and that will depend on who we can buy from Europe. They'll have to be kind of like established players. Maybe they go for like 25 to 30 mil a pop. You know, maybe that will be the case. But yeah, I can definitely see that. I've got nothing against that. Yeah, and about tomorrow, Gil saying Phillips will be playing. When Bielsa says someone is a doubt, they're playing. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Robbie 3-0 Leeds Llorente hat trick. I wouldn't put it past him, man. I wouldn't not put it past Llorente. You know, what a player. Hopefully this is it now with the injuries. How many times have we said that before? But hopefully with the injuries in the rearview mirror, we get Llorente for the rest of the season, because that will help us immensely. He's so important to the way that we defend. He is a real Marshall back there. He really is. Just watch him play. Watch what he does. He's just all that, but I just want to see him stay fit now. CS Stone ball prediction: Roberts finally finishes a sitter. Well, it was Southampton last season where Roberts got his first Premier League goal, wasn't it? So, hey, maybe he can repeat the feat. Maybe he can do that. Chris is saying WWE, as it is now, are in for Cooper for WrestleMania. Who knows, man? Who knows? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Mr. Tom is saying, like, under the new rules, we probably wouldn't have been able to sign Pascal Struijk. He's right. Probably even Raphinha too, because Raphinha was uncapped. I don't know if it would have counted because he's got an Italian passport. I do not know all the ins and outs. I really try and avoid all this stuff if I can. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, you're right. And Pascal Struijk would never have been allowed to come under the new rules for sure. Gil Sauer, great stream. Hey, man, that's what I'm here for, man. That's what I'm here. I do my thing, man. I do my own thing. So, yeah. Well, apart from the Cuppish show every Thursday at 9:30, okay, with the boys. So tune into that. Hopefully, they'll send out a tweet, an IG post, Instagram, KG Vision as it is. And hopefully, they can promote it a bit better. Ugh. And lastly, Robert Dunlop, I want to see Gelhardt get some game time. Absolutely. So, yeah, people, that will be it for this stream. Like I say, if you're watching the replay, please give me your thoughts in the comments box about what you're feeling. Any of the Brazil fans that seem to have turned up in the videos, Give me your thoughts on Raphinha. Are you loving your new hero of the Brazilian national team? Let me know. And yeah, I'll see you tomorrow, 5 o'clock, for the match reaction to the win over Southampton. Peace.